So
All right. Would you like a countdown, or would you like to do a countdown?
You can count down. It's fine.
Okay. I'm gonna count down from 5. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. Well, anybody who's watching who doesn't know about Metal Gear Solid, which speedrunning MGS1 speedrunning isn't exactly one of the more popular runs to do, because the start of the run is quite fun, but as Plywood will tell you as well, the end, in particular the PAL key business, is a bit boring to do, so a lot of people don't run the game, and as well it's a little difficult to run. But essentially what we're doing here is we're doing the all bosses category, and there's 2 categories of Metal Gear Solid 1 speedrun. There's large skips and all bosses. All bosses is as it sounds. You're going to fight all the bosses and deplete their health bar, whereas in large skips you skip massive portions of the game and fight like, I think, 4 bosses at most, maybe less.
Yeah, you fight Raven, Rex, and Liquid.
That's 3
both
bosses.
forms. So if you consider both parts of Rex as separate boss fights, then it's 4. But yeah, large skip essentially the any percent category. This is all bosses, so we're gonna pretty much see the game as intended throughout. There's only gonna be like few glitches, but beyond that, it's largely glitchless.
Even are just skipping silly things like the laser hallway and what have you, so it's nothing too major. Like, I mean, you could do a glitchless run, but frankly then you're doing a slower run, and that's just kind of, and you're dealing with that laser hallway, and that's just not going to happen. Full stop.
It's not fun.
No, that's not happening. And you have to call a mirror and listen to that crap, so forget about it. And for people who are familiar with Metal Gear Solid games, you'll be well aware that there's a lot of cutscenes and codec calls and that kind of stuff, and they get skipped as well. And because I'm running Integra, which was a re-release in Japan in 2000, or maybe it was 99, I can't remember.
Yeah, 2000.
Yeah. I can skip the liquid speech atop of Rex. That is unskippable in the other versions, except for the PC version, which is integral also, but the PC version's a whole different beast. That's a mess.
More ways than one.
But so for the elevator here, I killed those 2 guys just because I don't like them very much. This guy is just going to knock here, run over to the side, he's going to walk off, and Snake goes onto the elevator. And it's a nice reminder, as Plywood has reminded people before, these people have IQs of 180, so they are literal geniuses.
They're very smart.
Clearly.
They're so smart they recognize a noise and will go investigate that noise.
And they have highly trained senses of hearing and vision, so his vision is top notch, as Naomi would tell us if we were listening to her, but we're not going to listen to her. That's a waste of time.
No, we don't want to listen to Naomi. We're not going to listen to anyone, pretty much.
Except
actually, like, practically no one besides Unskippable Cut. There's a few portions of the game that you have to listen to people talk to you, but they're only occasional.
Thank God. Most notably during the Grey Fox fight, there's a lot of just when he's in his final phase, he talks a lot, and throughout the fight there's just unskippable cutscenes, which is a nightmare. But you get over that. I've also realised I never set the analog mode, so that's a bloody nightmare. I used to need that for the moment. I'll change it in a second. So we're just kind of trying to dodge the fight, and he didn't pay enough attention because he's a genius. I'm trying to change this really quickly before I carry on, because playing with the D-pad is a nightmare. Yeah, so that's the heliport. Like, you can do the heliport quietly and not run into the spotlight, but to be honest, like, it's just a waste of time. Even if you're on exchange.
I didn't realize that there was a British way, or I guess you could call it Irish way, of spelling analog. I didn't realize you guys added a U and an E there. Because for us it's just A-N-A-L-O-G, I believe. Analog.
Yeah,
huh.
There's weird ways to spell everything in Ireland. Like, I mean, it's the same with colour, like.
See, yeah, but I knew that one. I didn't know analog was one of those words.
There's more words
on
than
that, add that, the ooh to.
It doesn't even make sense. Like analog as you spelled it is just far. Like it doesn't. I don't see the problem with it, but I find American English, and I don't mean to offend any Americans, but it's a lot more simplified than British English tends to be. Like,
I'm out of here.
yeah, bye. But it is like, and I don't understand why. Maybe I don't under. I can't. I wonder maybe there's a history to that or something. I don't know. But anyway, so we're on our way to see the DARPA chief, Donald Anderson, and he's going to die. Spoilers. But if you don't like spoilers, you probably shouldn't be watching. To be honest, he's going to die. We're not going to kill him. It's not us. You can't prove it was. You'll never see the cutscenes, but trust me, we didn't do it. He has a heart attack or something.
That was a really nice throw by Raichu on the first floor.
Yeah, did that on the
Yeah, it's a spooky roll, spooky throw, and part of throwing in this game is that if you swap back to whatever weapon you're holding, you cancel the animation, the recovery animation of the throw, so you start moving more quickly.
So it's essentially like that.
Raichu's going to be exploiting that throughout the run.
It's essentially a phantom throw, so we're beginning the animation, but as Bible said, we equip a weapon to immediately cancel. So it's like he was just thrown by nobody, so we can just continue on, and it saves like literally a second, but you could throw so many people throughout it that it actually adds up into decent seconds of saving time. Like in the heliporters one, the tank hangar, in the nuke building, you do it maybe twice in the armory, a couple of times in the nuke building, but throughout it, like you could save yourself 20-30 seconds just by doing that. Like, so it's useful to do, and it's
definitely.
And it also means that you have
and you'll also see that Raichu will be pretty much holding the chaff grenade or the SOCOM
indefinitely,
practically all the time, because it actually speeds you up if you hold certain weapons.
I think the weapons generally, the tier, like they go in tiers as well. So like some weapons do better than others, but pretty much all the grenades and the SOCOM would be the fastest way to move. I didn't like getting shot there, so now Snake is going to mansplain Meryl because that's what he does, apparently.
I'm telling you, shoot!
Just telling her to shoot a gun. And off, she's going to protest that she can shoot a gun despite standing there for her. However, I'm not shooting her gun. But regardless, she's fairly simple. You shoot them all day. Meryl is she can be helpful sometimes, but it really depends on her mood. But sometimes she can be quite helpful.
You don't want to rely on her most of the time. Like, she's, in general, if she actually does get some shots off, it takes too long for her to actually accomplish killing a guard.
But on extreme, she can be helpful because you kind of want to keep your kill count low, and you can kind of tease the guards a little bit by shooting them once or twice and letting Meryl finish them. But it's like she's a bit rubbish, to be honest. If you go in expecting Meryl to be helpful, she's not. She's really just there for story purposes, which we're going to ignore anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. So next is Ocelot, and Ocelot is just like, Ocelot's strange. He has a big thing about revolvers. He's quite fond of them. He claims they're the best gun ever made, but I mean, we're here with a SOCOM and we kill him, but
yeah, he's a bit old school. He likes to use the revolver, but we're gonna
he's also quite fond of reloading.
Newer school. I don't know when I don't know what the release date of the SOCOM pistol is, but I believe it's a newer gun than the revolver. But it's not really the gun we're using as much as like the technique. Raichu's gonna try and exploit Ocelot's AI to sort of stay in place, kind of loop him, and constantly do damage to him. If the fight goes well.
I will, hopefully. If Ocelot, the way Ocelot kind of works is he won't attack Snake unless you get really close to him, or you attack him first. Oh god, I crawled. So what we're going to try and do is trick Ocelot into just constantly shooting at us, like so. And you do that by kind of doing like this half circle move, and he'll just... And you'll do that until he has to reload, and I'll drop to the move. And when he's reloading, he's just going to keep running away. Now Ocelot's speed increases as the difficulty goes up. On easy, he's quite easy to catch. He's not too easy to catch up with. If you let him go, he will get ahead of it. But on the other end of the spectrum, on extreme, he's just a nightmare to catch up with. If you let him away from you, you're just going to be chasing him around in circles. And at that point, you might as well just reset, to be honest.
Yeah, the loop is super important, or it gets progressively more important in a speedrun the higher the difficulty, because by extreme he turns into Usain Bolt, and you can't really catch up to him, even though he's running around in cowboy boots. He runs really fast. It's hard to keep up with him.
For a man of age, he has a remarkable speed about him, to be fair. To be fair to the Mr. Ocelot.
It's from the Nano Machine.
And what you might not even notice... what you might notice with Metal Gear Solid 1, as a speedrun, it's nothing short of just boss rush. So, like we just... the Guard Rush, which is a boss, given Metal Gear conventions. Ocelot, and within minutes, we're going to be doing the tank. And do it properly. I mean, then you go from the tank to the nuke building, and then you go to fight Fox. From there you go re-meet Meryl again, and then you go to fight Mandus, then Wolf, and it just goes on like that. It's kind of ridiculous. Now the first glitch in the game is this vent clip, which you might recognise from large skips category, where we'll do this near the torture cell to skip pretty much half the game and just go straight to when Snake was captured. We use it here to skip calling Meryl to open that door for us, and those lasers. On our approach back,
it saves about that saves like about half a minute, something like that, because you have to mind that not only do you have to call Meryl and then skip through all that codec, you also need to go through the laser hallway, which is slow. But to answer a question from chat, Japanese text itself doesn't save time. It's the fact that the Japanese integral release, later on you can skip a cutscene that you can't on the American release. That's about 2.5 minutes long.
Not all that, just like every time I play the game, skip to... I can put English subtitles on if I want, but I have to do that every time I load up the game, which is... Perfect, you got a good thing.
Yeah, well done, sir.
Oh dear, and like 10 attempts in practice, I couldn't even get the first grenade. I was terrified of that tank. That's it.
Yeah, the real trouble with that strat is making sure you get that first nade in, and once you sink that one, it's just a matter of positioning along the outer edge of the tank to sink the other grenade in. You dunk the tank and you're good to go. You don't really want to chase that tank around. It's a real nightmare. Everyone who runs this game has had to chase the tank at one point or another, and it's a super struggle because the tank moves a lot faster than you do. Even if you have a grenade out, it outpaces you pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So
then you have the obvious risk of getting ran over by the damn tank as well.
Yeah, it's just a bad scene. So being able to manipulate the tank's trajectory at the very beginning by taking a certain line in the snow lets us sink a grenade in just like that.
That's what happens when you're not paying enough attention. You go to the wrong floor.
You were just excited to go to Grey Fox, that's all. That's all it was.
The best boss, really. Let's be fair. Okay, so what you're meant to do is go to B1. So we're going to go grab the Nikita and some stun grenades, but you have to do this quite quickly. There is no margin for error, really, because if I bump off some scenery, if I haven't got the card equipped when I go to the door, anything that slows me down by a mere second means I won't be able to get in, get out, grab the stuns, and be at that elevator before that guard would see me. So if I, on the way there, make a small mistake, I have to wait in the Nikita room for him to pass and either kill him or throw him or just get him out of the way. But doing it properly means that you'll just get in and get out before he can finish his patrol. And that's the ideal situation. So the next thing to do is we just got a call from somebody who's called Deep Throat to do with the Watergate scandal or something. I don't know, I was really listening. What we're doing here is we're going to destroy this electric panel. That would be nice, that's the idea. And then we'll go fight Grey Fox. Who's, or sorry, the ninja, we don't know who it is. We never- and we'll go rescue Otacon. And we all know Otacon, I'm sure, by now.
I mean, he's a household name.
Yeah, he's a big fan of anime.
Everyone knows Otacon.
Hal Emery. Some people call him Hal, I think that's a stupid name. I think Otacon is a better name altogether. Or if you're Meryl, it's Otacon. Which I hope suits you.
Oh, something to mention. A lot of people don't know that there are multiple spawn points for the FAMAS assault rifle for this game. And so in the armory there's a FAMAS pickup, but if you skip that, you can pick it up here as well. And it's a lot better for speedrunning purposes because the FAMAS is a bit out of the way in the armory when you pick it up. You have to go under some lasers and crawl, and it's really slow when you really just want to go to the elevator. So picking it up here in the gas hallway is a lot better.
And besides that fact, you can't actually pick it up till after you defeat Ocelots, and then you're messing with the cartons and you have to kind of deal with the guards and stuff. It's on your way, and you want to pick it up before Grey Fox because throughout the room there is ammo scattered around to make the command facility easier. Because in the armory you can get a full FAMAS, like full of ammo, because it has some ammo boxes left and right of it. But in this, on the laser hall, or not the laser hall, the gas hall, there is no ammo storage, but they are in box rooms. So you can put it. I picked one up before I even got it. So there's full of ammo left anyways. And because
Are there any other weapons that have later spawns? Well, we actually used that with the SOCOM. So the SOCOM has multiple spawn points. If you don't pick up the SOCOM, you enter the guard encounter at the beginning of the game. You will get the SOCOM automatically, basically. They'll give it to you. And then there's certain items that you can also pick up later or earlier, like the body armor instance.
For the SOCOM, as far as I know, it spawns in the truck outside, the room with the thermal goggles in the tank hangar, and then a guard rush. But like, picking it up in the truck outside is a waste of time, as is picking it up in that. But you don't even want to be near that room with thermal goggles. And you shouldn't. You don't want to go up through the top of the bend either, because that's bad.
Yeah, huge waste of time. The routing for this game isn't super complicated, but I think in general we do things that casual players wouldn't do in terms of like how you move about the game. It just kind of comes with knowing what the guard patterns are and what you can and cannot do given those patterns, and what pickups are where.
Like, it is no joke that this game is essentially a boss rush in speedrun. So in this little corner
the bosses will break your run, definitely.
Like in this little corner here, I mess with his teleporting, so he can't like teleport behind me or to the left of me. He has to just kind of blink in front of me, which makes it a little easier. And that just happens to be luck that I was in that position at the time. On extreme, you kind of want to get him up near Otacon's locker and stand in that corner, because he's invisible when he teleports all the time on extreme. You'll never see him, so it just makes it a little easier to know exactly where he is all the time. He's going to be right in front of you. And the only reason I play easy is because it is literally the fastest difficulty of the game. So that's mostly the reason for that. To be honest, extreme is a nightmare, so forget about it. Next up, we have Mantis, and Mantis is fun. We all remember Mantis if you played this game before, and especially Kojima's.
Probably the most famous boss fight of this game, really.
And only for the port change. That was all. That was the only reason people remember him so well, because he really. And it was actually like, as a child or a young person, you shouldn't have been playing this as a child. I'll tell your parents. To kind of.
That was me though. I was playing this game when I was like 5 or 6.
Yeah, so it's like, to be fair, so I can't really say anything.
Yeah, oh yeah, you can't give me poop for that.
And I'm going. But that's kind of one of the more interesting things about Mantis, and how that fight worked was kind of incredible. Like, because you'd go in not knowing what you're meant to do, and you'd have like, oh god, what am I supposed to do here? He's absolutely destroying it. He's dodging all my attacks. He knows what I'm going to do, and just to change. And then you have Colonel Bramble on like, change your controller port. It's like, why though? That would be like, it would be the one thing you'd never think of, which has just made it fantastic. But as well, during Mantis, as most might remember, he does take control of Meryl a total of 3 times from the moment you enter the commander room to the moment you leave, or defeat him, whichever way you want to word it. We're going to use a wee little trick that stops that, so that he only does it twice. So he takes control at the very beginning, and he'll take control to let Meryl shoot herself, instead of the second time where he'll attack us. And after, the way it would work is, after we'd stop Meryl attacking us for the second time, Mantis would go for another video screen, which is going to be in Japanese on this version, unfortunately, so you won't get to see the video, and you'll just see some Japanese text. But that would show up, and Mantis will be hiding again.
Don't move.
Instead, we're going to skip that entirely by shooting Mantis 8 times, and then throwing a grenade at him. And grenade appears to be worth 2 damage, so 2 shots, but for some reason the grenade just kind of throws him off. Maybe it's the,
Okay,
getting
let's
2
go.
attacks at
I know
once.
this place
I'm
better
not
than
sure, but it works anyway.
I'll be pointing.
So that saves,
Follow me.
I'd say about, I'd hazard a guess to say maybe 20 seconds, give or take, in counting the black
That's
screen as well.
There's no god.
It's a pretty significant time save for this fight.
I'll keep a
To
lookout.
answer a question
Make
from
sure
chat,
you're ready, okay?
doesn't Integral have very easy mode? Yes, it does. It replaces the FAMAS with an MP5,
It
which is
doesn't replace
a
it.
silent,
It doesn't
infinite
replace.
ammo.
It doesn't replace the FAMAS.
It doesn't replace, or you just have it.
You just get
I thought
it.
it was.
You can just
So
get
you
it.
get
the
it,
second
and then
get
you can also pick up the FAMAS. I thought it was that it.
No, the FAMAS is in its usual locations, but the MP5
Oh.
is given to you in the docks. You just get it. It's just in Snake's inventory.
Excuse
start.
me. But the reason why we don't run very easy is because you don't actually get a rank at the end of the run, which is how we compare times in this game, is the in-game timer, and there's no in-game timer with very easy. You can only do real-time runs with very easy. So
Just for the purpose of this, man, I won't be using IGT because I'm not sitting around for 10 minutes waiting on the credits. So
exactly.
we're gonna stop the time at daylight. But otherwise, yeah, we would use IGT because it is the most accurate way to time the game. And like I said, very easy, doesn't offer you such a screen, so we're going to have to change controller around quickly. You have to go in and out of the menu twice because the PlayStation is a piece of crap. Not only will the PlayStation 2 version appear to be one of the faster ways to play it, it's also kind of the easiest just for this in particular. So that's 2 shots. I'm going to be quiet because I want to count the shots and not make a mistake. That's 3. That's 4. I'm going to move back here with the FAMAS. 4. Right here, right there. 5. That's 6. That's 7. That's 8. So now hopefully, instead of going to have Meryl shoot at us, it should just drop her. Yeah. So that skipped that and then the black screen, and it goes straight to Meryl trying to kill herself instead of us. But we won't allow that either, because Snake goes into a pit of endurance with depression if you allow Meryl to die.
Stop!
Which I happened to let her do because I made a mistake or something. I was just practicing and I let her die. I'm not a bad person, it's just a video game. But Snake just like
I mean, she's gonna die here anyways.
Well, that depends.
It's that right now it's too much. Too much to make if Meryl died.
But yeah, it's okay when he's in jeopardy or pain and stuff. But
Yeah, if Snake's life's on the line, it's okay, but not here.
And that's not just. Oh dear. But
And interestingly enough, that whole possession skip that Raichu did, that's also a form of that is in the remake for this game. The Twin Snakes can also skip that possession phase,
kind of.
first possession phase, which is a weird coincidence that you can do that with both games.
Go quickly into the menus. Oh dear. This is the worst. So we'll go back to the chat now. We kept the SOCOM from Fox onwards because I was going to use it with Mantis anyway, so there was no point manuing to change it. But I won't use SOCOM at all. Frankly, I don't think. I'm going to use it once throughout the entire run from now. So we'll just stick with the chat. If it'll work for me, because sometimes it's a bit fussy, we're going to try and use a little out of bounds. And this will be the second and frankly last glitch we'll use in the game that I can think of right now, and that's just going in here and that allows us to avoid the dogs. The wolf dogs were not very nice. Despite Snake's career as a musher, he's not as good with dogs as he thinks he is, and these ones in particular do not like him very much.
Snake, what's wrong? I thought you were good.
What's going to happen here is Meryl's going to get shot up in a second. Not by us. We'll leave her alone. It's going to be Sniper Wolf. We're going to meet Wolf.
Yeah, the out of bounds here has two purposes. One, like Raichu was saying, it skips dealing with the dogs, but also you take a faster line going to the door because you don't need to crawl underneath the overhangs in the caves. So that's really the last glitch / out of bounds you'll see in this run. Everything else from here on out is just exploiting aspects of the game design.
Like,
you know, things like silencing your footsteps, etc. Like, that's not actually a glitch, it's just how the game was designed and programmed. So, no more glitches, all pure gameplay.
You
Never
saw anything.
It sounds weird.
So Meryl's drawn a nice little line in the
I was able
snow,
to see where the mines were
or ice or whatever it's meant to be.
Are you impressed?
Snow, it's pretty crap snow.
Only a little.
And you know, she thinks we should be very impressed, but I mean, look, come on, Meryl, really now, Meryl, come on. What will you do? You can just run straight forward, you know. So that's just a huge waste. That really annoys me because it's just a huge waste of time. It's like you don't need to do that, and you can't skip that. So it's like, another thing with that I actually never mentioned, when there's a long section of cutscenes like Otacon, those ones, you don't have to mash the cutscenes, thank God. You can just hold X, so that's helpful because you do have to mash through all the codec screens. Sometimes I find that mashing X and circle on the codec consecutively kind of makes it slightly faster, but that could be just me thinking something.
And it's also just like you have more inputs, so you're not relying all on one button.
Yeah.
Same thing I do. You can use X or circle or X and circle to mash through the codecs. And we have a lot of the big codec calls are still coming up. There's two in particular, one in the torture cell, and then one with a pretty infamous call with runners of this game is the Naomi call. One of the elevator rides, funicular rides, whatever you want to call them, near the end of the game that takes forever and a day. Quite annoying.
She goes on for a long time. She likes to talk.
She wants to tell you about her life story and what breakfast she had today, and it's just a big waste of time.
She's pretty upset with you for killing her brother as well, which is great for. Oh no, I spoiled that. Oh no, I've made more spoilers.
Dude.
Oh no, I've made more spoilers. I'll just cancel the stream now. It's fine.
Pack it in.
Yeah, we're on our way back to pick up the PSG one, which is like the longest section of the game we can. Well, no, that would be the Palpy section, but it's intolerable backtracking. And games of this era were famous for backtracking because it kind of gave you artificial length to the game. Otacon, despite his promises of going to the armory and mess hall for us, has failed us. He has failed us, and he won't go back and get the PSG1. It's not because he likes Sniper Wolf or anything. Don't say that, he doesn't love Sniper Wolf. What are you talking about? So we have to do it. So we're going to revisit the armory. And the armory is scary. I'm terrified of the armory, frankly. There's a couple of things in this that have stressed me no end. The tank was one of them, since I made a real doozy during practice. I really kind of messed that one up. The armory is another thing that gives me the fear. So hopefully I can do this properly. Now there's several ways of doing the armory. You can be crazy like MG Slade, who was like big for this game, where he'll knock this wall and throw this guy around the corner as he approaches. I'm not doing that because I get the fear. Or you can do what I'm going to do, I'm going to kill him because I don't have to worry about him. The lasers also give me the fear because I just touch off them, and that's an alert. And then and if you get an alert down here on your way to get the PS1, you just have to die because the elevator won't work during alert or evasion mode. Or as it is in the Japanese version, it's danger and something else, I can't remember what it is, but you have to be in just regular mode before you can use any elevators. And waiting for the counters to go down and trying to find somewhere to hide in the armory is a bit difficult, so you might as well just jump down one of the pits. We got the PSG1 without much trouble. What?
It's a nice job, you got through it.
Yeah.
Great. That's a pretty. It's a scary section. Like this whole section with backtracking is a lot more stressful than you think it would be, because there's several critical points where things can go really wrong. The canyon things can go wrong. The armory things can go wrong. Going through the nuke building, the first floor can go wrong. So even though it looks like just some boring old backtracking in the speedrun itself,
It's terrible.
it's a bit more challenging.
And on the other categories like large skips, the armory is what decides whether your run is going to continue or not. Like because if you die in the armory, you might as well reset because you've cost yourself enough time to make it not worth it continuing. So, I mean, even during a run, obviously I wasn't going to reset if I died in the armory now, but if I was just doing it for myself, I would reset for a day in the armory. It's unnecessary time loss, and it's an absolute nightmare. So we'll go meet Sniper Wolf, properly meet her this time. And we'll kill her, because we don't like Wolf. Now, I haven't picked up any diazepam, because it's not required. The sniper mechanics in this game are like quite far beyond their time with the handshake. That was kind of something that most games didn't do at the time, none that I can think of at least. But you can get a momentary relax from that if you snap the rifle on and off continuously, which you'll see now in a second. Prior games fixed that entirely. Well, prior games, or latter games, excuse me. Prior, Jesus Christ, English failing. The latter game, Metal Gear Solid 2, rectified that problem where you can't snap on your weapon on and off to cut out hand tremors, but it was removed in all the other games thereafter then. Shot us, which she always does. But Jesus, she's aggressive now.
Which is a good thing, as long as you don't die. You want Wolf to be aggressive here, as long as you can get those shots off. Wolf's a bit random. Sometimes she decides to hide more behind that pillar on the left side, you see. Sometimes, like right now, she wants to murder your face.
She's taking a small relaxation, thank God. But as you can see, I'm just snapping it on and off just to keep the hand tremors away. You get about, let's say, a second and a half. So
yeah, about a second, and then the tremors start kicking in. And so we just exploit the fact that you have a little bit of leeway, because all the diazepam you can pick up is too out of the way
Yeah, it's like
Probably the easiest one to pick up is the one in the caves. You can pick up the ones in the caves, but it costs you about, I don't know, about 10 or 15 seconds, something like that. And you have to go through the caves normally as well to pick that up, so it's not ideal. And there are no headshots with Wolf in this game. It's what if you get a shot on her, you get a shot on her. Her hitbox is kind of weird. It's not like just her body. It's sort of a box around her. Not exactly just shoot Wolf. And you run the game enough, you get kind of a feel for what is and isn't a shot on Wolf.
There's no such thing as headshots in this game, full stop, on anybody, because you can't aim your gun. The PSG one is the only gun you can actually, and the stinger, but I mean, Jesus Christ. Somebody with a stinger, it doesn't really matter where you hit them. But the PSG one is the only, gun you can aim precisely. But like the SOCOM is all in third person. There's no first person attack whatsoever, so there was no real need to program in damage variables for different parts of the body. So it makes no difference.
If you want that, there's the remake. The remake, you can get headshots and that sort of thing. It's using the Metal Gear Solid 2 engine, but
also if
Metal Gear Solid 1's a bit more basic in that way.
If there's a decision on whether Meryl lives or dies, now is the time to tell me. Because if I don't hear a decision in a few seconds, I'm just going to not save Meryl because I don't have... I didn't hear anything, so...
You win.
So Meryl dies, apparently. Which is good, because it saves me like 5 minutes.
Enough. So, you're human after all.
Now Snake has been locked up.
The torture will stop as I promised.
He shot Wolf and that's not allowed. You can't just go around shooting people with sniper rifles.
I'll have my fun with her before I kill her.
Ocelot doubles as a police
I hope
officer,
you can still
apparently.
look at yourself in the mirror, my friend.
I heard you for a second.
Oh, better not be put now.
Private. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can right? You? Yeah.
Yeah, I can
okay,
hear you.
great.
I think that momentarily. Yeah, so we've been captured because Snake shot Wolf, which is, like I said, not allowed. You can't just go around shooting people. Ocelot in his spare time is also a police officer who arrests people for shooting wolves. And we meet Johnny. We all know Johnny. Everybody should know Johnny by now. He's the famous guard who has stomach problems. And he seems to always have a flu as well, or a cold. God help him. So Johnny's sneezes are entirely random. Every time he sneezes, it's equal to about 1 second of time lost. And that died for a second.
Raichu208.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. I don't know if Raichu can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear now. Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah,
I just heard myself on stream, so I can hear myself. Let me know when it's okay to read a donation.
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead. Yeah, because I mean it's really quiet now. I'm just waiting on
Okay.
Otacon.
Hold up. Alright, I have a $20 donation from Jed Fenner. There's no donation message. If you want to have that go towards the donation incentive, let us know in chat. I want to remind everybody that there's a current donation incentive going on for this run for choosing the ending for an Otacon or Meryl ending.
I'm gonna have to.
Both totals are at 0 right now, so right now it is Raichu's choice. So if you want to see either one of those endings, get those donations in.
Oh, I already made my choice and I killed Meryl because it came up to the time and nobody had. I did let you know that it was. I need to know now, but I think Discord cracked out on us. But it's fine because it ended up on my choice anyway. So.
Oh,
I saved
sorry about
Otacon.
that. I didn't hear that going on. I had
like
something
Otacon
else
better.
I had to do. I'm sorry.
That's
My
fine.
bad.
It was the
Never mind,
perfect,
that's
perfect timing on that.
So Johnny,
There's no going back on our decision. We're gonna go for the bro.
actually, no, something. I think I might have a save there.
Yeah, true.
We'll turn this into a live multi-segment run. First ever. World's
They were
first.
like, oh, let me go back on that. Saber.
Oh wait, there was how much to save? And we're just going away
So
for
is
Otacon.
escaping the jail the glitch considered a large skip? Well, it's the glitch for the large skips category isn't escaping the jail. It's actually getting into the jail early. It actually takes longer with large skips for this jail sequence. You have to sit in jail for a longer period of time.
Yeah, and if you do the torture, it's 3 rounds instead of 2.
If someone could figure out a way to get out of the torture cell early, great. But the problem is that you need to see Otacon first.
Yeah. And the reason Otacon won't come any earlier is because Snake has his items on him when you enter the cell the wrong way, and the game just kind of like, well, this isn't going to happen. So you have to talk with Ocelot, lose all your items, and then you can leave the cell. So if you do the torture, you're actually doing 3 rounds of torture, which is not fun. But if you're skipping it, then you're just sitting around twice. And a big thing to do, a really important thing to do, is hide under the bed when Johnny leaves the room for the first time, because when he returns, if you don't, like, you hide under the bed so he doesn't think you escaped and he panics, and then you'll pop out from under the bed just like, gotcha Johnny, April Fools. And then Johnny won't fall asleep, otherwise he'll go to sleep, and that's like 40 seconds just lost, just like that. I can't remember who found that.
I forget the individual's name.
But they were quite new to the game at the time. I remember Slade mentioning that they were quite new. He mentioned it during his GDQ run.
Yep.
But that's really important.
So whoever you are, I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you for discovering that.
I'm going to run back. I've made a mistake. Oh god. So I forgot that the damn claymores are different on the way back.
You gotta move a little bit to the left after that snowdrift.
It's grand. We'll just go this way. It's fine. It's safe. Nobody's fine. It's fine.
This is fine. This is fine.
Oh, for crying out loud. I managed to stop myself swearing there. That's good. Okay, we're fine. Doesn't matter. That never happened.
Fine.
We'll cut that out.
Totally fine. Yeah.
We survived.
This
that's amazing.
canyon didn't happen.
Yeah, that's. I mean, something had to go wrong. I haven't died yet, and I'm surprised at that too. To be fair.
Well, that's the most important, really.
So we're just going back through the nuke building. There's another throw. We'll pop that snap. I don't know if this way is faster, but if I'll be entirely honest, I saw Slade do it, and that's why I'm doing it.
Apparently it is. I haven't timed it out myself, but I asked Slade about it, and the purpose of going on that left side is to pick up the shaft.
Yeah,
the first time. And also, the first time, when you go through that left path, you get that codec call interruption, so that actually pushes the guard patterns forward, you know?
Yeah, they're kind of in a more ideal position. So
exactly, it's a more ideal position, you pick up chaff, etc. So
really, I have 5 chaff now. I don't think I'll pick up. I can pick some up before the hind if I need them, and I can pick more at the bottom of Com Tower B, but chaff won't be used a whole lot. If I do it properly, which I aim to, I'll use actual live grenades to destroy the cameras on the way down from the hind.
Ooh, you're gonna be doing that, hey?
Just for fun. So here we have the scarf, so we don't need to worry about the dogs trying to harm us, and it's a little just easier. So I did clip up onto whatever it's called, the little ledge we'll call it, but just that's just faster than crawling underneath. Copper ration, we'll take a card. We'll grab this ration here for one of it. So we'll get the stun grenade ready because we're about to do the ascension. The ascension is pretty easy, to be honest. It's just timing some stun grenades and throws and that kind of thing. The main thing to do here is I'm gonna try and skip a cutscene with a stun grenade. Don't ask how it works, it's just magic. But it's very essential that it's done, because if I don't skip that cutscene with the stun grenade, guard patterns on the stairs up are different and they're less ideal than if I manage to skip it. So I don't know why that happens. I presume it's just like they spawn faster or differently when it's triggered like that. I really couldn't tell you, but it works, and that's the main
well,
thing.
if you trigger, so when you enter this room coming up to start the climb, you can either activate the alert by making a noise like the stun grenade in that room, or you can run straight through and then the camera catches you and then the guards chase you. But you don't want the guards chasing you, they're slow. You don't want to get slowed down by the guards shooting at you and all that nonsense, so activating the scene this way makes it so that the guards never actually show up, which is pretty nice. It makes this first part a bit more breezy. It's also really important to note that the whole running faster with the grenade out thing is pretty vital here. If you're running up these stairs without stun grenade or the SOCOM or what have you out, you're going to have a bit of trouble because you're not moving as fast as you should be.
And these guys are quite fast.
Yeah.
It's almost, it sounds funny, but it's almost better that they stop and try to shoot at you, because for some reason they can't run and gun. They don't know how. We know how. We're Solid Snake, don't you know that we like it. But they stop to shoot you, which kind of gets them off your tail a little bit, because, like, good lord, if you thought Ocelot could be fast, but these guys can catch up to you no problem. Especially when you get punched in the face like that. And if they catch up to you, they're going to hit you or shoot you. Like, the preferable ones to try and shoot at you, because they won't, hopefully, hit you. Because we keep moving, they stop, we move. But if they come up and they slap you, they're going to get you, and that's just not acceptable.
You see that Raichu's using to full effect that animation cancel by swapping back to the stun grenade after a throw.
And that even,
which is
more than anything,
again, pretty important.
Especially here, like, because like I said, you want to be moving as fast as Snake can, because like I said, these guys are like Usain Bolt. If they're, if Ocelot is Usain Bolt, these are Usain Bolt on steroids. Like these guys.
And these are the elite. These are the guys that do cross country on Shadow Moses Island. They run around on the glaciers.
And they are, you know, the stronger of the heroes. It's always you can tell by their dance match.
Yep.
The green fellas, the white guys with the white masks, and in the nuke building, they're just kind of whatever. These fellas are. You want to be careful of these guys. They're absolutely destroying. And their guns seem to do more damage as well. And you'll meet more of them at the end of the recount. So if I get away with it, we'll deal with them in a more fun way than the usual shooting with a sniper rifle or throw some keeping this cracking. The rappel is pretty straightforward, especially easy. I mean, on extreme you have to be kind of careful that you don't get hit with steam or whatever too much. Because extreme, your health is your health, and that's kind of, there's only 3 or 4 portions of the game where you will get refilled. Unless you have rations, of course, but you don't use too many rations either. You won't get too many food. If we're going to get hit on the rappel, it's preferable to hit by steam and not liquid. Obviously a hind D does a lot more damage than a steam jet will do.
Yep. A steam jet is half the damage of a hind shot, so a hind shot equals 2 steam hit. And sometimes you can even get shot twice in one go. So he'll shoot you once, your iframes will go, and then at the very end of that stream of bullets he'll hit you again, which is pretty devastating no matter what difficulty you're on if that happens. That's where the rappel can get pretty spooky, but right here we got one of the cooler strats of this game that Raichu did pretty successfully. Nice. So that guy, that guy didn't get stunned.
Now that happened before too. I love it. It's like I can throw if I throw that stun even as half a second.
I think it wasn't thrown forward enough.
Yeah.
I think that might have been it. Like the distance was too great, but that was still pretty successful, all things considered. It's definitely one of the cooler strats. You use stun grenades and run around their bullets like it's like something out of the Matrix, except there's no slow-mo.
Solid, you know. No, exactly. You don't even get the benefit of slow-mo. You have to do it in real time.
Nope. Yeah, you gotta do it in real time, avoiding bullets, and we try to use a certain path and manipulate how they shoot, so that we avoid their bullets, and then just throw 2 stun grenades and just run peacefully down the catwalk. Because sniping them, you can do it, but it's a little bit slower and
they do hide as well.
not that great. You don't have a lot of good options there.
And when you kill one of them, 2 will go all around the corner and hide as well, so it's like, oh dear, this is really slow and annoying. So you have to wait for them to peek back out. Now the big problem with using the stuns and running along like that is if their bullets hit you, Snake will slide right back down. They have incredible power in their shots.
Absolutely. That's another real big choke point in the speedrun. If you only go in there with 2 stun grenades, which is the bare minimum, and you miss your stun grenades and you get pushed back, you're gonna lose a lot of time because now you need to use PSG-1, and you can't actually like snipe 2 at the start, then 1 runs away, then snipe that one. But it's still not ideal, and yeah, it's a very tough spot in the run. Certain they take like 4 or 5 sniper shots to kill us,
and there is really no margin for error with it either. You know, you have to do it right, or you're in big trouble. So at the top of the tower, I'm just going to pick up some Stinger ammo. The Hind isn't too bad. He can be a pain if you don't get a stun lock on him. I'm just going to grab this ration as well because I'm low on rations. Oh no, full apparently. Okay, never mind. So grab some Stinger ammo because we don't want to run out, because there is a stun lock on the Hind where you just kind of keep him shooting at you with his minigun, but we're in a position where he won't hit us with the gun, so it's just repeating that. But you do not want to run out of ammo during that sequence, because he'll go and this is in during Liquid's phase 2, where he will just go and hide under the scenery, under the level a little bit, and you can't hit him. And it's just, it can be kind of one of those things. It can be okay, and sometimes he'll come out quite quickly, but sometimes you can stay under there for 30 seconds, 40 seconds, and it's just a whole farce. So it's just not worth dealing with. And you can't still knock him off the phase 2, so you have to deal with the first phase as normal, but he won't go hiding and he'll just fly around the level.
Yeah, it's in the second phase, the way it works is when you shoot Liquid with the Stinger, he'll have some invincibility frames, and then he'll do a counterattack, and while he's doing that counterattack, you fire a Stinger, and then he just continuously does this loop where he tries to counterattack, misses, and counterattacks you again because you hurt him, and so on and so forth. And that manipulates the fight, makes it a lot easier because, as Raichu was saying, if you don't get that, then the fight gets kind of random and he hides a bunch. It's just a whole lot of trouble.
Yeah, a whole lot of trouble. This doesn't make that thing. So, and Raven as well is the other boss that will kind of stun lock, but we'll do that much later on. So I'll talk about that.
To answer another question from chat, you can use the stingers on the cameras. It's not the best strategy because,
you stop
like, honestly, it's not really that important to save chaff. There's only a handful of spots left in the run where you will use chaff. On easy, you will use chaff at the Rex 1 fight, because it disables Rex 1 on easy, no other difficulty. I'm guessing very easy as well, but that's kind of to be assumed.
You just fight Rex with MP5 on there.
Use the MP5 on Rex.
Good. So like you can see that it's just completely locked up. It's not really doing anything but in the shoot that so lonely. Sounds like catching a child.
And this is not unique. Do this on any difficulty, this Hind loop.
And it's frankly essential to do so on extreme.
Makes the fight really hard if you don't, definitely. And the whole idea is you're sort of measuring out his iframes, knowing when he's gonna be out of the iframes and then fire. So it's a little bit of math you have to do on the fly, knowing like, okay, now I need to fire depending on the distance, that sort of.
And a little bit like Raven, when he stops growing, it's usually about time to attack. So we just have to wait now.
Yeah, you can use. There's a lot of audio cues you can use in this game to know when iframes are done or when to do certain things. Like later on with the PAL cards, use the music cue to know when you're good to go. So, audio, knowing with this game, knowing what kind of cues you can use to do certain things like fighting bosses more quickly, etc. Very helpful. You want to have every benefit, every little assist you can get while running this game.
Oh god, I just remembered the PAL keys. So next up would be Wolf 2. Well, no, there's an elevator fight next, which is ripped right from Metal Gear 1 and 2. It's a big thing with Metal Gear 1. The elevator fight. I'll do this now. Cocked the grenade too early. So we're going to try and use grenades to detonate the cameras, or ourselves. I missed two. So what I'm counting is 2 stairs. And then on the 3rd corner, I'm going to pull the pin. And just as I just kind of go a little bit down the stairs, I'll throw the grenade and it should destroy the cameras. So it's fairly simple, but it does take a good bit of practice. And clearly I haven't had enough practice. And you can just keep moving. So
Yep. Doing this saves on shaft, or using stingers or what have you to deal with these turrets on the way back down. So, and you still move at the same speed with the grenade out as the chaff grenade. Any grenades, you're gonna be moving the fastest, so it doesn't affect you in that way either.
No.
And you have plenty of grenades, so.
I mean, I did have enough chaff to do it that way, but that's more fun.
True, but you know what? Kind of want to save those for Rex 1 later, or some of them at least.
But,
You can use the chaff occasionally throughout the ending of the run.
like the chaff grenade's most used purpose in the entire run is just using it to speed ourselves up a little bit. That's
Exactly.
So kill these guys. 'Cause
Too late, Snake.
they were
Now
stealth
die.
components. They stole that from Otacon, right? Otacon's my friend, and I don't like that.
It's too bad you can't take the stealth camo off their bodies after you choke them out. It's a real shame. They just disappear into nothing. But yeah, there's 2 different strats you can do in this elevator. You can either go for a choke strat, or you can take these guys out with the FAMAS. The problem is with the FAMAS strat, even though it's a little bit easier than the choke strat, these guys are bullet sponges, so
And you can't just
take a bit while.
continually lay bullets into them until they die, because they do gain some iframes after you shoot them. They like fall down and then get back up again, and then they're ready for more. It's like, what? But Wolf 2 is next. Wolf didn't die the first time, but we'll make sure she dies this time. That I promise you. Wolf 2 is a lot easier than Wolf 1 because she's generally a bit more hide and seek. But when she's hiding behind a tree, you can use the stinger to attack her, and it gets her to move then, which is a lot easier than sitting around and just kind of like waiting for her to move. We will keep 1 stinger missile behind. That needs to stop dropping next, that's annoying. We will keep 1 stinger missile behind for dealing with the crane in the blast furnace. So we'll use the stinger first. Let's find out where
Hey
she
guys,
is.
if you don't mind, let me know when it's okay to read a donation.
You can pretty much go ahead because it's just Wolf. There's nothing to talk about while I'm doing it.
Okay. I have a $20 donation from Jawdry. Says, love this game. Good luck, Raichu.
I love this game too, and then I start speedrunning it. No, I'm only joking.
you really gotta love this game to speedrun it.
Oh, you do.
I mean, it's fun, but you know, this game has some faults as a speedrun, and
In particular,
I can say this very confidently. I've run this game a lot, to a fair amount, but I think the real appeal of running this game is how you approach bosses and strategies and that sort of thing. In case anyone is wondering, you cannot shoot Wolf while she's behind the tree, even though her elbow's jutting out. That's kind of a visual flaw of this fight. You're like, oh, I can shoot her elbow right now. She is completely invincible while she's behind the tree, as far as the PS2-1's concerned. But that's why you'll see Raichu use the Stinger missile when she's behind the tree, because you can still do the explosion splash damage while she's behind the tree, which is pretty helpful. In general, what we try to do is line up the PSG-1 with the tree and then swap to the Stinger missile, and we'll already be locked onto her, so to speak. And you can also get shots off on her while she's running around in the field, but they're pretty hard. You gotta lead your shots a little bit. But when you do get those shots, they're pretty dang juicy.
like the Stinger is essentially a variation on the casual strat that I would have used way back. Well, not way back.
The Nikita strat, yeah.
I've only speedrun this game for about 3 or 4 months, to be honest. I will just get rid of the Stinger. Or at least probably too. Yeah, because I want to pick up ammo. Yeah, the Nikita strat where you hide off in the corner and just throw Nikitas towards it, but that is very, very slow. But it works too. I mean, if you're not confident in your...
In a pinch, it works, but it's definitely not the fastest way to go about the fight. Like, you really want to mostly focus your efforts on using the PSG-1 to the best of your abilities, and then the Stinger as a backup when she's hiding. Otherwise, it's the PSG-1 show. And really, this fight isn't as threatening as the first Wolf fight. That's because she does a lot more hiding. She's not quite as aggressive because the field of play is a lot larger in the snowfield than the tunnel that we fought her in earlier. So there's a lot more play in terms of the timing.
No fight.
So it's a less scary fight, a little bit easier, but still has some difficulties to it, especially because she can double back on herself when she's running around in Snowfield and trick you with where she's going.
What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take out this crane. So, and the crane is just completely random. It can be kind or cruel depending on how it feels at the time. And it can cost you a lot of time. And I think it was actually not too close. It was Toma16 who discovered the crane strap. Shoot it and just cancel out that orangey. So thank you, Toma. Except you want to be careful you don't get too close too quickly or you will get shot. So we'll just wait for this fight to go away.
Definitely one of the more cinematic and cool looking deaths in the game, though, falling into the blast furnace. It kind of reminds me of Terminator 2, very end of Terminator 2, where, spoilers, Arnold Schwarzenegger falls into sort of a blast furnace like this, and is the thumbs up thing. Kind of reminds me of that when falling down, arms up.
Unknown Kojima, that was quite intense. Because anyone who knows him knows he's a big fan of movies. Snake himself was.
Oh, you don't say.
Snake himself.
The man with hours of cuts. fan of the movie. Wouldn't believe it.
The Snake, or Solid Snake himself, was actually modelled after Snake Plissken from Escape from New York, for those who didn't know, there's a fun fact. And he did actually want Kurt Russell to play Snake, but Kurt Russell laughed and told him absolutely not. It's like better things to do. Video game now.
Oh, joke's on you, Kurt Russell.
Yeah, one of the most.
I think that would have helped. I think that would have helped Kurt Russell's.
Yeah. I don't actually think that's what he said, but he did say no. He wasn't interested at all. Which is fine. I think he was more into the movie at that point. That's fine. That's his business. But for a long time, even for pretty much all of the games, because you know, the Kurt Russell play Snake, but every time he said absolutely not. He wasn't interested. But yeah, no, Kojima's big.
So we didn't really talk about this fight. This is a fight where you really don't want to use weapons. It's really slow. These guys they might as well be bosses with the amount of health they have. So if you try to FAMAS these guys, good luck. You're going to be on that fight for a while.
Ideally,
generally what we try to do is throw them off the railing or choke them to death. Either or.
Preferably the railing. Or you can
Preferably the railing.
But that last guy you'll have to choke to it either way, because he runs off into the middle and starts swaying, just spraying bullets everywhere. That's pretty good. Stop that immediately. So coming up to Raven, I was talking about during the fight. And Raven is hell, frankly. He can be absolute hell because he's quite fast. And the way Raven works is when you get him down to about 3/4, maybe a little less of his health, he moves at an intolerable pace. So we're going to abuse his AI a little bit. We're going to stun lock him so that he just continuously keeps trying to shoot Snake. Very similar to how the Find worked. But the way Raven works is he shoots a lot of bullets, but only one counts as a hit for obvious reasons. So, I mean, you know, so we're just going to keep shooting the heat missiles at him. He's going to explode. He's going to blow up the first one. That's fine. But then everyone thereafter, he won't be able to, and we're just going to keep doing that over and over again. So that cuts out him running around like a mad thing. Because when he gets, like I said, down low enough, he starts running around and crazy and screaming and shouting.
And then you need to implement backup strats, which in general we really don't want to do for this fight. It can get really out of hand if things aren't working out. Oh no. Yeah, I generally don't go for that first shot on easy. A little tough because of that. Oh god! Oh god! Oh no.
I don't know how I
Wait, how did that work? Oh my god! What? At this angle you're firing at, it's an analog angle. This is crazy.
I'm terrified.
This backup is... Wow, wait. I have to give it to you, Raichu. This is pretty impressive. I've never done a backup like this. But yeah, so this is not the intended way of doing this loop, but you can do backups like that. If you have the right kind of setup in terms of the distance. It's all about keeping him in that like red alert as the radar, and he won't shoot down the missile. Then you just rinse and repeat until he's dead. Otherwise, you don't want to really chase him around. If worse comes to worse, what I would do if I can't like really get that backup Nikita strat going is you go up in his face and just drops grenades or C4 and just kill him that way. Just tank the bullets. That's what you can do on easy as long as you have enough ration. But yeah, he dies pretty quick as long as you know how to exploit his behavior. The fight looks even more silly and ridiculous on PC. If you thought that was crazy, go look at that fight on PC. It's even more absurd. But yeah, when we run this game, we really don't want to deal with Raven in the standard way, the intended way that the designers wanted you to fight Raven, even though it's definitely a cool and well thought out fight in terms of the design and the cat and mouse games, but we don't like playing cat and mouse. We like to just strike our prey and move on, and that's what we do. So we're now coming up on every Metal Gear Solid speedrunner's favorite part, which is the Palkey fetch quest backtracking epic journey around Disc 2. Disc 2 is a lot slower than Disc 1, in part because they elongate what is really the end of the game with a big travel back and forth to freeze and heat the PAL car, which you need to do to finish the game. On the remake of this game, you can actually freeze and heat the key in Rex's lair. You don't need to leave once you get here. That is not the case in the original. It's really for like dramatic tension, because you get parts of the story, and then there's like, you know, long drawn out silence in between, and you're building this anticipation and tension of what's going to happen. But in the speedrun, it's quite annoying because we don't really pay attention to the story. The story is more or less pointless to us, so it's just a big hindrance.
We know that on Dark Knight, what happens, just becomes a slow build up to the obvious. And it is very, very slow. This section is worth about
Definitely
15 minutes or so, and then the last couple of minutes then are just Rex and Liquid and the escape. So it's one of those kind of things. But sure.
Though we do have the most exciting and potentially heartbreaking parts of the run coming up, which is the rat. There's a rodent that eats up our PAL card after Revolver Ocelot shoots it out of our hand. And we need to take out the rat to retrieve our card.
The rat is
If you play this game casually, you may think that it'll be in the ditch, but that really only happens if you've played for a long enough period and like saved and continued and all that. We don't really get that during the speedrun, so we have to deal with the randomness of the rat. No, the rat does appear on easy mode. That is not true. The rat does appear on easy mode.
The rat
There's three
difficulty. The rat isn't difficulty dependent how you've gone through it. I think somebody said before it was alert count. If your alert count is higher than 10, it goes in the draining stage. But that I don't know. I don't know what.
There's some factor that applies to it, but as far as I can tell, if you're playing more slowly, more casually, it'll be in the drainage ditch more. But there's 3 different holes where the rat can come out of, and it comes out at random times as well, so it's not only just the randomness of which hole it comes out of, it's when it shows up, and that's determined on the frame you enter this area from the ladder climbing down. And we have the rat immediately out, but in the worst spot. This isn't too bad. This is a pretty good rat as long as... Alright, great. As long as you don't miss. That's the really important part.
No, you don't ever aim directly for the rat, because he can hear the missile coming. He knows it's coming and he runs. So you kind of have to shoot when he's going.
Yeah, it's a really smart rat. They hear the loud noise of the Stinger missile flying at it.
Somebody's gonna shoot a missile.
You may think it's excessive to shoot a Stinger at it. We disagree.
So you have to shoot where he's run for it. Preferably just not the rat hole itself, depending on how far away he is. But if he's kind of where he was, it was just about the rat hole, because the explosion and splash damage is enough.
Yeah, I honestly thought that was going to miss. I'm gonna level with you, Raichu, but that worked out. I'm really happy about that. Because if you missed and it goes into the hole, you're back into the randomness of where will it show up and when. So that was actually a pretty good rat. That's definitely a solid rat, one that we would like into a speedrun. It's not like perfect rat. Perfect rat is at the first hole Raichu checks, and it's immediately there, which is a nice chunky time save.
And that's
Right here you might have noticed that he ran straight to the laptop. There's still an alert that happens, but this line is a lot better terms of speed. Not for alerts, so you don't really do that straight on Big Boss Extreme, but on easy we don't care about alerts. It's totally relevant to us. We're just trying to go as fast as possible. Are you gonna do that with the blue laptop as well, or no? Not going for that.
I've actually never done
yeah, you can do it with the blue one as well. But the timing is a lot more strict.
Yeah, maybe not. Just because I mean, like that's my lower saving.
Yeah.
I have a bit of
It's pretty swag looking though, because you run to the laptop and it's like at the last second before the door closes on you, you put in the card.
Which way do you go for the laptop? You just go straight to the side, like.
Yeah, you go straight to it.
Yeah, sure, we'll give it to him. What sort of stuff happens? It'll be strange not having it continue.
This will be a teaching moment for Raichu.
Teach me not to steal. Teach me not to do stupid things when you can't reset when you're live on the internet in front of how many people? I think it was something like 30 something earlier.
Million.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Billions and billions. The whole world's watching, right?
Oh, good. Right,
I'm surprised, but it's happening.
So we're going to wait around for about 1 minute, 1 second, give or take. I'm going to check the card before I leave because this is, I'm just doing it by myself. But it's about a minute it takes for the card to change colour. And it happens twice. But you do it blue and then red. Hot and cold.
Yeah, you can either use a timer, or some sort of other cue, like a visual cue. I know Slade used to run around, do laps as his timing method. Or, the song, there's a certain note you can pay attention to, a certain part of the song that happens, and that can be your cue as well. It's about a minute until the card freezes, or the card heats up. And yeah, that's about it. Otherwise, we just sit around and chill, literally, in the this cold room.
Thanks for catch cold. I'll for this. Terrible. Oh, there we are. Card is cold. So we can move onwards. And you do have to make great haste back to the computer room because the card will go back to room temperature if you're not fast enough. Unless you're even. It's not as much of a risk for the cold key.
Yeah, that doesn't really happen in a speedrun. Unless you decide to just sit around, then you'll have that problem. But that's usually the trouble isn't that the card goes back to room temperature, is that you leave the room too early, which is a pretty easy way to lose the run. I've done it before, because you want to just leave as quickly as possible, and if you want to do that freezing or heating the card optimally, you don't check the card, you just know, okay, card's frozen, good to go.
You get very antsy on if you're a bit behind, well, you kind of just want to be spot on with your timing, so you want to be exactly 1 minute and 1 second. So
definitely.
You jumped a little too early, but
yeah, oh yeah, I've last night I was doing some runs of this, and didn't heat the card properly, went all the way to the computer room, and it's like, oh, it's the wrong one. And then you're just like, oh god, I'm done. Over. Because to backtrack would be like an extra 6 minutes or something ridiculous. So you don't really don't want to do that.
that actually terrified me. But I did it. I did it.
It looks really scary, doesn't it?
I was like, I'm not going to make it. I didn't chance it on the way back out.
Fair enough.
And then I got that and I was just like, that's the wrong way.
Yeah, you like pretty much. It's not like just past the door, but you get like maybe a foot away from the door when you do it with the blue one going in.
Oh dear.
Obviously, you can't do it with the red card. It's too far away, but you can just do it. You can just get there in time with the blue one.
Nope, coming is the infamous codec call with Naomi.
Yeah, we're coming up on it in a few minutes.
On the way back with the red card, I think.
Yeah, on the way back. On the way up, you get a call from Miller. But you speedrun this game, you try to learn to love this part of the game as kind of like a relaxation moment, sort of building up anticipation for the end. You know, a good time to chat with people, put your feet up while you're sitting around in the elevators, that sort of thing.
There's not a whole lot going on. It's very quiet.
It's a nice, relaxing part of the run, and also, no matter if you're doing the large skips route or the all bosses route, it's all the same once you get here. Once you get past Raven, it's all the same. No matter if you're on PC or console, you're doing the same thing. So, that's kind of the benefit of this area, that there's not really any variation. You just learn how to get good at the lines, that sort of thing.
Try not to leave too early, try not to leave too late.
Yep.
Try not to fall into the blast furnace when you're keeping the hot card.
No, don't want to do that.
The only real benefit of sitting around for a minute is you can grab some extra ammo and what have you in the blast furnace and in the warehouse. It's called warehouse, the frozen warehouse. But there's really nothing else you can do. It's just a whole lot of sitting around and waiting for a codec call, skip the codec call.
But I'm gonna go actually use the rest a moment while we're waiting around, so be right back.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot going on here. It's just big codec calls. And elevators. Codec calls and elevators. Mostly codec calls. This game loves them. You kind of get a workout on your hands because there is no such thing as not mashing them. You know, you want to mash them fast, so it's slow not to. But on the PC version, you can easily skip. There's just one button, skip. Wonderful. Not so much on the console. But the only thing I can say is at least you don't have to do that with cutscenes as well. So that would be absolute hell. Coming up on the end, essentially. Once I heat the last card, that's pretty much it then. It's just Rex, liquid, and that's it. And then the escape, and then it's finished. Which is pretty great. But there's not a whole lot going on, so you can find myself get quite sleepy. And a bit bored. Because it's just a bit card. So I was going to pop in. The last bit of last one. I was going to grab some more chaps. Some stinger ammo. Okay, back in. I'll hang up with the last one. While we can the card heat up. Here down for 1 minute and 1 second.
Hey, I'm back. What?
I just said, oh my god, I'm getting tired. I just get quite sleepy on this part.
That's why you. This is a coffee friendly game.
No, definitely.
Coffee, black tea. Yeah, I drank a cup of black tea before we started.
You might open up some Minesweeper on your computer or something while you're waiting. Just like, oh Lord.
Yeah, you gotta get cozy here. You gotta relax. Gotta find something to do. I tend to just like rest my hands, have a chat, grab a snack, whatever. You gotta as much as there is some dead time in this run that is taken up by long elevator rides, what have you. It's about seeing it as a positive, not a negative.
Yeah, it gives you some time to rest your hand, because up to this point, the only real breaks you get with this game are the torture cell, and if you're playing anything like liquid. That's a nice little break for you. But
Yep, and a few unskippable scenes here and there that you can just relax a little bit.
oh, the docks, of course. The docks. The 2 minutes and 20 seconds is just absolute nothingness. We could just... But that's at the start, because you don't need... If you need a break at the start, probably
Yeah, the ultimate break.
you probably should put the game down for a while. Maybe you've been playing for too long.
Turn the game console off right now.
There's definitely time to turn it off if you need a break. Just as you start.
Yeah, that's the ultimate way to take a break, just to turn it off.
Finish the game.
You know?
So now here's this lovely codec with Naomi. So my fingers will be hurt by the end of this, no doubt.
Yep, this is the call we were referencing earlier. This is one of the longest codec calls in the game.
One of these.
And it's annoying in part because you can't just like mash constantly through it. Whenever you see Naomi like move her head or there's like a pause, mashing doesn't do anything there. It's just gonna tire you out because you can't actually mash through the animations of the portraits. So
in this case, I'm trying to watch the text to make sure I'm going at a reasonable pace, as well as watching Naomi's face to make sure that I'm not mashing unnecessarily, because it sounds like it's not that bad, but like it's not just this one. In less than 5 minutes, I have to do a game, and then more, and then cuts. It's just like, good lord. Besides that, you've ran for however long. I don't know what the timer is because I'm not watching it. It has about an hour and 10 maybe, probably closer to an hour and a half to go. Going like that and mashing just codecs and cutscenes, and it's, your hands do get sore playing this game.
oh yeah, you learn to. I mean, especially if you're doing attempt after attempt, it can get really tiring because at the very beginning of the game, there's a fair bit of mashing. When you enter the helipad, all those codecs at the very start, where they introduce mailing, etc., etc. So you can only do so much until your arms are like, no thanks. My wrist gets to be at the point where it says, I'd rather not. I'm done.
And as well as that, you might find as well, if you're starting, if you have any interest in this game, for the love of God, please do. We need more people.
Desperate much?
No. Yeah, you might be like literally the best masher, and you can mash all. You can press all of the buttons. You can do MGS2 torture on European Extreme. Ooh, look at you! You can mash for 60 seconds straight. There is a point where you can't. Like, I'm trying to explain this properly. I'm trying to.
There's a ceiling to how fast the
codec will allow
what
you.
You're saying.
Yeah, the codec will. Like,
yeah, you can't like at a certain like. Yeah, exactly. You can't like, you don't really need to mash as hard as humanly possible. Really, I mean, you should mash quickly, but not like so much that you're going to tire yourself out. Especially because some of the calls in the game are more endurance tests. They're not like, for instance, that Naomi call is an endurance test. The call in the torture cell is a lot about the backstory of Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2. That is an endurance test. It's not about how fast you can match, it's how consistently you can match over a minute or whatever, what have you.
It's because there is the game does kind of, it lets you mash through them, it doesn't let you keep going for as fast as you'd like. Oh, why am I calling melee? Good lord.
Mailing safe.
Mailing, open the door, please.
Please, open this door.
I can't open the door, Snake. I can just throw a solid on right now. God damn it. Please, I'm drowning in here. So, yeah, I'll quit the ration. I don't need a key card for the rest of the game. I can use the ration. Does my health get refilled at the start of rest?
Your health gets refilled at rec. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I'm just going to use it.
It's one of the designated full health points.
I was going to use a ration, but then there's no point. Whatever. So we'll go chase Liquid, who pretended to be Master Miller. Master Miller is Kazuhira Miller from Peace Walker fame. most recently MGS5. He decided to sell the master another.
Spoilers.
Sorry, but if you haven't played the game,
He's in a game.
frankly, if you haven't played a game that's 2 years old, you can play spoilers. That's your problem.
Hey man, I was mentioning spoilers about Terminator 2. That movie's like older than so you gotta be careful about spoilers.
I have some people that boycott the show already.
Yeah, they're quitting.
Spoiled him just fine. I'm banned. We banned it. So the general purpose of like shoot the rain out. For no good reason, because you can't destroy it anyway. There's a great box to do that for you. And just letting a little tidbit. When the screen faces to white like that, if a missile is coming for you and it hits you and depletes your health without a ration, you die. Oh, you die. And you start that fight again. And if, after this scene here, if I die in phase 2, I have to go back to phase 1. So you always have to be kind of careful of what you're doing. That's happened to me before, that's not fun.
Definitely not.
That cutscene.
When you're in a first-person view with the Stinger, you actually don't get thrown to the ground, so
But for phase 2,
second
in
phase,
you're going to just tank.
yeah, you just tank it with the rations out.
These rations would have used after this fight anyway, so it doesn't really make much of a difference.
Yep, they're gone after this.
It's unfair that you use rations to fight.
Just eating really quickly in between getting hit by a missile. It's no big deal.
It's completely normal.
Just trying to save the world, folks.
So we're pretty much done now. Maybe I'd hazard guess
Yeah,
maybe 10
run's
minutes.
over.
Yeah, well,
Kidding, it's not over.
I was gonna go to the escape, but I decided that I'll time it here. I hope whoever's on the time button is paying attention and listening as well, because it's almost, we're coming up to maybe, I'd say about 5 minutes, 7 minutes
Yep.
maybe.
Around there.
Essentially wants liquid. It depends on how well liquid goes. There is an infinite punch for liquid, but I'll be honest, I'm not very good at it. I'll give it a go. I'll try it. But on easy, he's not too bad. You can't let him. You have to be careful with him, because he can destroy you if you're not careful. If you take him, you think, oh well, all the bosses have been kind of easy so far. Liquid,
If you
is
win,
easy. Liquid
you might still be able
punches
to
like a sledgehammer, but by comparison, we punch like a twig. So
could enjoy one brief
the
moment
balance
of love
it's
before
not
the end.
fair. For anyone
If
that's
you
familiar with
cross
Metal Gear
this
Solid
line,
1, Liquid's punch is very similar
At
to
this
Fox's
height, it will kill
super
even
punch that
you.
kind of punches you in the back. If he hits you, it does a lot more damage than we output, so you have to kind of be careful of Liquid.
Have at you, Snake.
For stealth, you're going to throw him. Go stand up here, and then come up there. Go throw him again. No. The idea is then that you go into a certain rhythm of pushing the button, so you're punch, 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 but not kicking. And Liquid wasn't programmed very well, so he can retaliate back, or use the high frames don't kick in until the kick happens.
Better hurry. It's going to blow.
So that's how you do that now.
What's wrong, Snake?
Yeah, and you can set up the infinite along corners or the walls of Rex, because if you keep on punching Liquid, he won't fall off the edge. So you can just keep on punching him over and over again. The important part of doing that infinite is all about the rhythm. Keeping to the rhythm, not going too slow and not going too fast so you accidentally kick and drop the combo.
Yeah, and if you are too slow, Liquid just runs away. So it's just Liquid is programmed badly. It's really the only way it goes. It's actually quite.
It's a very challenging strategy. It's definitely one that a lot of new runners have trouble with. But once it clicks, it clicks. It turns a fight that can be very challenging in a casual sense a lot easier in a speedrunning sense once it clicks.
And I was being serious about whoever's on the timer, if they're able to hear, they'll have to let me know.
Yeah. They said, Varen said they're ready on time.
Oh, right, okay.
I'm ready on timer for you.
That's alright.
Yes.
Because this is essentially the last.
Are you doing it on...
Yeah,
it says,
daylight.
it says daylight or
Yeah, I'm just
fade
gonna
away
do
or
it.
what?
I'll do it when he screams daylight and the screen turns white. There's no point in carrying on any further than
If
that.
someone just says time, that's fine.
Okay.
I was
I'll let
considering
you
using
do
the
that,
IGT.
Raichu.
I was considering using IGT, but really it's just an extra 9 minutes or so
Yeah,
that I'm
here's-
gonna sit around and watch.
Yeah. So the credit song is quite good in this game. Never heard of it. Quite nice, but it's several minutes of sitting around.
If everyone wants
We
to
don't
listen.
have.
But like I was saying before, I'm actually quite that in the Metal Gear community we do use the in-game timer because it's far more accurate.
Yeah, it's just easier to compare. The game timer.
For certain things like frame drops, you don't get kind of noticed on an RTA. But the frame count, the IGT, sorry, counts frames, and every 60 frames is 1 minute. So there's no discrepancy in it. Like I could do a run just as fast as Clive, which would probably. But if he used a strat that caused frame drop, his RTA would be more hit than mine. And therefore my kind of faster. Just because of that, but the IGT will match up correctly because it's just counting my frames, so it's just the way doing things. For the sake of this,
It's not over yet! Liquid!
For a time over
Hey man, I care.
I can't know. I don't think most people can up to say how. I think a lot of people watching like stuff doing Captain Stick and they have minutes to see. Maybe I'll jump through the apologize.
Hey, you know, I've had a good time with this. I mean, we're now shooting at Liquid, and this part is a series of little battles, essentially different sort of, I guess, ways of shooting at him. So the general idea is that you want to fan in to Liquid and try to avoid making him swerve, and try to, you know, efficiently do damage to him because he has an invisible health bar. You need to do enough shots of damage before he's dead. Looks like we're coming up on time.
Get ready on the timer. Time. We're finished. Here,
Nice job, dude.
Alright, I hit the timer. It says 1:37:47.
So about 147 IGT. That's not too bad.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Okay, that's Metal Gear Solid 1, the speedrun. Here's some
Thanks for watching,
lovely
everyone.
cutscene. Thanks very much for anyone who did watch. And to the donators, that's very nice. If you'd like to watch more and just watch speedrun,